Travel today feels a little bit like walking across a bridge. From a distance, it looks smooth, easy. But when you step onto it, you realize something. Not every plank is where you expect it to be. And if you don't know where those gaps are, you don't just slow down, you fall. We were at the airport in London with a group of students, and everything had gone right. Flights, hotels, experiences. It had been a beautiful trip. We had just spent days exploring the city, walking through history, seeing places we had only talked about in class, and experiencing it all in real life. And now it was time to go home. So one of my students stepped up to the counter, handed over her documents, and in an instant, the bridge disappeared beneath her. Because when we left the United States, she had shown a copy of her green card, and that worked. But to come back, she needed the original, and she didn't have it. So while the rest of the group boarded the flight, we didn't. We stayed behind. And suddenly, we weren't travelers anymore. We were solving a problem we never planned for. We left the airport, checked into a hotel, and made a plan to go to the U.S. Embassy first thing the next morning. And here's the part that changed everything. We didn't panic. We didn't argue. We just handled it. We went to the embassy, got everything sorted out, and then we went back to the airport. And when we got there, the same gate agent was there, and she recognized us and greeted us. And because of how calm we had been through the whole situation, she upgraded us to first class. And I want to stay in that moment for just a second. Because when you're standing there at the airport watching everyone else board, there's this feeling that creeps in. Not panic, but uncertainty. Because suddenly you're asking, how long is this going to take? What happens if this doesn't get resolved? And how do I take care of the rest of the group? And that's when it hits you. Travel isn't just about planning the trip. It's about navigating what happens when things don't go according to plan. And that moment stuck with me because yes, everything worked out, but it didn't start that way. Because most travel problems don't start with the resolution. They start with the gap you didn't see coming. And if you want to travel but actually feel confident, go ahead and subscribe to my channel because what I share here is designed to help you see the gaps before you step onto that bridge. Because here's what's happening now. That bridge hasn't disappeared, but it has changed. There are more rules, more systems, more invisible steps before you even get to the airport. And that margin for error is getting smaller. Travel used to be more unpredictable in one way. Flights were less reliable. Information wasn't always easy to find. But in another way, it was simpler. Fewer systems, fewer requirements. You could figure things out as you went. Today, travel is more predictable, but also more structured. And that structure, that's where people get tripped up. And here's the part that makes all of this feel a little more real. Because this shift is not something coming in the future, it's already starting. Take the United Kingdom, for example. If you're traveling to the United Kingdom, you're going to start hearing about something called ETA. That stands for Electronic Travel Authorization, and it's very similar to what ETIAS will be in Europe. Before you travel, you'll need to apply online, provide your passport details, answer a few questions, and receive approval before you even get on the plane. And depending on when you're traveling, this may already apply to you because unlike ETIAS, which is expected to roll out in late 2026, the UK has already started implementing ETA requirements in phases. So this isn't theoretical anymore. It's happening. The bridge isn't just changing in one place. It's becoming rebuilt everywhere. And if you're not paying attention, you might not realize a step is missing until you're standing at the airport. And what the UK is doing now, Europe is preparing to do at a larger scale. So let's talk about one of the biggest changes coming to travel, ETIAS. That stands for the European Travel Information and Authorization System. And simply put, it's an online authorization you'll need before entering most European countries. It's not a visa, but you do have to apply online, answer a few questions, and get approved before your trip. Right now, it's not in effect yet. It's expected to roll out in late 2026, but there's no exact start date yet. So maybe you don't need it right now, but if you're planning ahead, you will need to know about it. Because this is exactly the kind of thing that feels small until you're at the airport and realize it was a missing plank. Now, let's get one layer deeper. EES, the entry-exit system. This is how Europe will track you when you enter and leave. Instead of passport stamps, your information is recorded digitally through facial scans, fingerprints, and passport data. The system is getting smaller, but also less forgiving because when everything is digital, there's less room for error. And this shift that we're seeing is not random. Travel has become global at a scale we've never seen before. More people, more movement, more data. So systems are being built to track movement more accurately, improve security, and manage volume more efficiently, which means for travelers, less guesswork, but also less flexibility. So here's the simplest way to think about it. ETIAS gives you permission to go, EES tracks your movement when you get there, and STEP helps your country support you while you're away. STEP stands for the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. It's a free service from the U.S. State Department. You register your trip before you leave, so if something happens, you're not on your own. They can contact you, send alerts, coordinate support, and I see this all the time. Travelers assume, if I get there, I can get back. If I have a copy, that should be enough. If something's missing, they'll work with me. But the reality is, it's not personal. It's procedural. Because if something goes wrong, you don't want to be standing on that bridge alone. Go back to that moment in London. Nothing went wrong with the trip itself. But one missing document, one missing plank, and everything stopped. Travel doesn't fall apart because of big things. It falls apart because of the small things you didn't know mattered. Travel is getting faster. Automated systems, biometrics, and facial recognition. And while that makes things easier, it also leaves less room for correction. There's less flexibility, less grace. The bridge moves faster now, but if you miss a step, there's less time to recover. The biggest change in travel isn't the rules, it's how we approach it. I'll figure it out when I get there. It doesn't work the same way anymore. Travel today rewards preparation, not perfection, but awareness. So what to do differently? Check your documents early. Know what you need for entry and return. Apply for ETIAS when required. Register with STEP, and don't assume anything will just work out. Because peace of mind starts before you leave. And once you've done the work to get across that bridge, you actually want to enjoy where you land. That's why I've linked curated experiences below with Get Your Guide. So your trip isn't just smooth, it's meaningful. And if this kind of insight helps you travel smarter, make sure you're subscribed because I share more ways to help so that you can navigate travel with confidence. Just a disclaimer, I may earn a small commission at no cost to you if you book with Get Your Guide. Travel should feel exciting, not uncertain. But the path is changing, and the travelers who see it clearly move through it with confidence. If this helped you see travel differently, share it with someone planning a trip, because people don't realize this until they're standing at the edge of that bridge. And if you want to travel with confidence, make sure you're subscribed. You're walking across that bridge knowing exactly where to step. And that's what confident travel looks like.